Hey y'all, I'm LaToya Drake with Kentucky's Nutrition Education Program for the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service, and I'm here at the beautiful Allen County Scottsville Cooperative Extension Service office, and we're making one of my favorite recipes, our sweet and spicy Brussels sprouts. And you know, it's almost holiday season, so this is a great potluck recipe to add some more greens to your layout, right? So this recipe is super easy, super flavorful. It's got, Brussels sprouts, 2 pounds. So we got 2 pounds of Brussels sprouts. It's got about a tablespoon of olive oil. It's got a teaspoon of sea salt. It's got 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. It's got 1 teaspoon of fresh black pepper and cracked black pepper. And I just had this black pepper at my house, so that was what we were gonna get, and that's fine. And it had about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. It has a half a teaspoon of hot sauce. It has a tablespoon of honey, and that's going to be the drizzle for the end. And so we've got our Brussels sprouts here, and we're going to chop a couple more Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are super easy to cut up, right? So you just want to chop the end off and then pull the first couple of layers of off, just to make sure there's no damage, no mold, no issue, right? And then we want to bridge it and cut it in half if they're big, because you want all of your Brussels sprouts pieces to be about the same size when you're roasting them. You know, roasting any vegetable is super easy. You're going to do that on high heat for a short amount of time, but you want to make sure that all of your pieces are cut to a similar size. And this looks kind of damaged or kind of, you know, messed up, so I'm just going to cut it in half and use the half of it. So I'm cutting the end off, and then I'm just checking, taking the first layer of leaves off, looking for damage, and then I'm bridging that and cutting that in half. So I've got my Brussels sprouts all chopped up, good to go. So let's check out what else we have. We want to preheat our oven to 400 degrees. That's been going before we got started, and it's good and hot. I can feel it actually, the heat coming off of there. We're gonna mix our all of our things in this bowl, right? The olive oil is gonna go in this bowl. Our sea salt is gonna go in this bowl. Our garlic powder is gonna go in this bowl. Right. Our pepper in the bowl. Our crushed red pepper in the bowl. Let's mix this up. So super easy to give it so much flavor. And it's Brussels sprout season right now, and this just goes really great with your traditional holiday meals, with your sweet potatoes and your macaroni and cheese. You know, there's always a lot of good rich dishes at our holiday meals, but there's sometimes not enough greens. And this is going to give us some good greens and good fiber. So we're going to put our Brussels sprouts into this olive oil mixture, and we're going to mix this up and coat those sprouts really evenly. Get all that flavor in all of those nooks and crannies. All right. So I've got this parchment paper lined baking sheet. You could use a baking sheet and spray it down with anything. I really like parchment paper for its non-stick factors. I'm gonna spread these out evenly, get all my good flavor on there. They're gonna have a kick, as you can see by all of this on there. So we're gonna throw these into the oven, and we're gonna leave them in there for, let me tell you the amount of time here. We're gonna leave them in there for about 30 minutes or so until they're all the way tender. So let's throw them in and then talk a little bit about Brussels sprouts. Here they go. So that's 400 degrees. So when you roast vegetables, you're gonna do that on high heat for a short amount of time. So this could translate to potatoes, to beets, to any kind of root vegetable that you might want to roast. But so many of those vegetables are going to come into season right now, And we know right now is Brussels sprout season, and you might be able to find those at your local farmer's market. Those are in season from June until November, right? So you want to check out Brussels sprouts that are similar in size, that are firm, that the leaves are free of blemishes or free of any kind of mold issue. You just want them to look really pretty and nice. You want to avoid them that are yellow or they're sprouted or anything. And so you want to store sprouts in a perforated plastic container or plastic bag in your crisper section of your refrigerator. And they're going to be good for about 3 to 5 days after you pick those up. Of course, when you get things from your local farmer's market, they're always going to be fresher because they're going to spend more time in the field and less time traveling to come to you. So those might even last a little longer. So you want to look for those fresh and local Brussels sprouts and other produce at your farmer's market. So when we're preparing Brussels sprouts, we want to soak them in water for about 10 minutes and then change that water out to some fresh water and rinse that water out of them. And you're cutting off the ends also and pulling off that first layer just to make sure they're pretty underneath there before you get them cooked. And we want to also set a timer right now. We haven't done that, have we? As we get started. Let's get this set real quick. Kitchen timer. We'll give it some minutes. And then we'll pull that out of there. There we go. We've got that going. So roasting Brussels sprouts, super easy. That's what we're doing now. High heat in your oven, or even better if you have access to an air fryer or convection oven. That's gonna roast it quicker too, even because those convection ovens are just tiny, ovens with that fan there. It's gonna cook quicker. So in a regular oven, because we're in a cooler season, it's cool to heat your house now, right? So those are gonna cook high heat for a low amount of time. If you're gonna boil Brussels sprouts, and this is one reason that I didn't like Brussels sprouts growing up, because they were boiled to death and buttered up and kind of slimy and kind of gross, right? But I love them roasted. But if you like them in that way, you can boil them, and you're gonna do that with a cup of water for every cup of Brussels sprouts. And you're gonna cook those 6 to 8 minutes uncovered. And you could pre-boil them before you roast them, and that will help them, or before you grill them. Boiling's not my favorite thing, but if that's for you, they're super easy to boil too. You can even cook Brussels sprouts in the microwave and steam them in that way. And you can steam them in the saucepan as well. For details about how to do this with your Brussels sprouts, you can check out Plated Up Kentucky Proud's website. And if you click on any of those commodity produce, you can look at more information on storage and selection and preparation. So that's just a great resource to check out, right? So thinking about eating more produce, we want to vary our veggies and think about eating the My Plate way and Plated Up Kentucky Proud. So we'll come back in just a second with the completed Brussels sprouts and check those out. All right, y'all, our Brussels sprouts are ready. Let's get them out of the oven. They've been cooking for about 30 minutes on 400 degrees. So let's check them out. They smell delicious. And they've got the nice little crisp on there. So now we've got these Brussels sprouts. I've got some honey, right? And I'm gonna put this honey in this little measuring cup because I figured that'd be easy to stir this up without mess. So we've got this honey. I'm gonna combine it with some hot sauce. And this was about a tablespoon of honey and a half a teaspoon of hot sauce. So we're mixing this up pretty well. Because this is gonna be our drizzle, our sweet and spicy drizzle. And we've been talking about too how this is a great recipe to incorporate in our holiday meals to give us some more greens, right? Because we want to make sure that we're varying our veggies. And that's a key component to eating the My Plate way. And it's really important that we get a variety of veggies because folks who eat more veggies are known to have less chronic diseases. So we want to make sure that we're incorporating some of this good stuff in. So let's drizzle our hot sauce honey mixture onto our Brussels sprouts. So I'm gonna drizzle it, and then I'm gonna mix them up with our tongs. So this recipe is available on our Plated Up Kentucky website. And you can also reach out to barry.hyatt@nctc.com for this recipe. And he can definitely give you this. You can also reach out to the county extension service in a Kentucky county near you if you're in Tennessee, but you can reach out to the Allen County Extension Service office, and they would definitely share this tasty recipe with you. So this is a great way to plate up Kentucky proud and vary our veggies. So I really encourage you to try this sweet and spicy Brussels sprouts recipe from the Plated Up Kentucky Proud series. And I'm LaToya Drake with the Nutrition Education Program. And thank you guys for watching.